Hey, welcome to a new vlog. So I'm gonna kind of mix things up a little bit, and I'm gonna combine two vlogs into one. So I went to the library again and told myself I'm only gonna get manga. Obviously that didn't not happen. So I have a stack of they're not balanced on there, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. And we're gonna play a little game called Hit or Miss. So a hit will be a book that I get over 100 pages. I am still loving it after 100 pages. And I'm going to keep going with it. And then at every 100 pages, I'm going to reanalyze the book, see if I'm still enjoying it. If I'm not, then DNF. Obviously, I have been reading this book. And this is actually kind of what gave me the idea. I have been reading A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. It's okay. It's a fast read. It's a romantasy about a human woman and getting with the Elf King. Okay, the title kind of pretty much says it for itself. It's okay, but this would have been a good, probably DNF at the 100 pages, but I'm almost done with it. So I would say this is a mess, but because this was done before this challenge started, we're not going to count it. So let's make some predictions of what I think are going to be hits and what I think are going to be misses. Atlas Complex, definitely going to be a hit. I love this series. I've been listening to this off and on, and I still love it. So this will probably be a hit. This will probably be a hit too because it's Olivia Blake. And I've heard really good things about it. And it's a little bit of one of her shorter ones. And it's like more of a contemporary, and I'm really excited about it. Scythe. Scythe is gonna have to really intrigue me because I've heard so many hype things about this book that I think if it doesn't intrigue me in the first 100 pages, it will probably be a miss. Just because of the fact that everybody's like, even if you're not a YA reader, you're gonna like this. It's a dystopian, and it's about people that are pretty much Grim Reapers in a society where people can't die. So it could be a hit. It could definitely be a miss. The Rise of Koashi, depends how this is written. This could be a hit if it feels like the writers from the TV show and like a little bit more of a darker tone. If it is too light, then probably a miss. But I'm going to put that in a hit. I do like the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, and I'm a little bit more into like the back Airbenders and stuff, like the last Avatars over the one that we have, and I have not seen Korra yet. So Ruthless Fae, I am giving this series one more chance. I did not like the first one at all, but I've been watching a lot of romantasy TikTok, YouTube recently, and they say if you go into this just wanting to have a fun time, you might like it. So maybe if I change my ways on how I see this, maybe I can have a hit. But as of right now, it is going to be a miss. But we'll see. And then Budokai by PC Cast. So PC Cast is kind of a hit or miss author for me. So she wrote the House of Night series with her daughter a long time ago. It was a teenage series. Something like 12 books or something. But those got stale. And then she wrote like a urban romantasy series by her own that was about women getting with the gods. And that was good. So I'm gonna say this is probably gonna be a hit. It's about Budokai. I don't know too much about her, minus that she's kind of a warrior queen, from like a long time ago in Britain. So, I'm excited, but at the same time, if it's really slow or the tone doesn't fit or something like that, it might be a loss. But I'm gonna put it as a hit for right now. So, as far as what I can see right now, I have 2 misses. So, Scythe and Ruthless Fae. And I'm gonna just put the deal with the Elf King. That's gonna be a miss for me. And then I am going to say these 4 are going to be hits. I had The Rise of Kyoshi, by FC Yi. I finished this, and I really, really did enjoy this. I'm gonna probably pick up the second book from the library. See if it's just a good. I think it is only just a duology. I might purchase this if I can get it free from my used bookstore that I go to. But otherwise, I probably won't purchase it. It is a win, though. I really did enjoy it. It is like a 4.5. I will probably up it. I know you're not supposed to do this with Goodreads, but because Goodreads doesn't have 0.5, I will probably up it to a 5-star. But yeah, really enjoyed that one. Even though I am having a good time, this will probably be an L because it's just a fun time. Like, it's still gonna be probably like a 3.5, obviously, with how Goodreads does it. I will probably move it up to a 4. Or I might do it as a 3. I think I'll do it as probably a 3. But yeah, I'm just not liking like this series, but it's a good time. And it's an easy listen. And I can binge through like this whole series. I could probably binge this with my eyeballs with how big the print is and everything. Like, I mean, the print is like this big. So I could probably really, binge through. Hi, so I just finished, I finished this book last night. So I finished Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I had kind of a weird experience with this book. So this is kind of like Katie Roberts' Wicked Villain series, where Emily McIntyre takes Disney villains and kind of gives them like a steamy romance story. Kind of, in some ways, kind of makes them the good guy, but they still do bad things. And that's kind of how I felt about this. And Tristan, which is the prince in this that's supposed to be Scar, I feel like he was like, obviously he was doing bad things, but he was doing bad things in the aspect of like trying to make his country better. Like the reason, a little bit of a spoiler, but it's kind of he kills his brother because his brother's going crazy after the death of their father. So, and then it's like Sarah's kind of there for revenge, and then it was very complicated read because I didn't feel like, okay, you're talking about Scar from The Lion King, and I read this as, sorry guys, I'm trying not to yawn through this. I'm filming at 7:30 o'clock at night. But like, Like, her revenge makes sense because it was like her family. So it's like the typical revenge plot line, but at the same time it's like if Mufasa was like actually losing his mind. Which is not the case in The Lion King. So it kind of throws off. Like, I would read this more as like maybe like a Hamlet retelling and over like a Lion King retelling. And the fact that they were like human beings and like this was happening, I was like, okay, I just cannot believe this as a Lion King retelling. And this is Scar. And like mostly what it was he had a scar on his face. Okay, cool. Like I can go with that. Like, but yeah, I'm like, that was like my thing about this whole book was it wasn't as believable as like a villain story. Did I end up liking it at the end? I gave it like 3 stars. Like, it was a good time. I would probably, if I'm in the library, happen to see another one, I'll probably pick it. Guys, I'm sorry about the yawning. Windy or Hook or who it's really about, but that could be a good one. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. I want to read the Notre Dame one, which I know is probably kind of a disgusting thought, but I'm like, if I get it from the library, who cares if I don't like it? I'm glad I got this from the library, to not spend my $18. And then, the last book I have from the library is Broken Souls and Bones, by L.J. Andrews. And all I know about this book is that I think it's another, like, Viking romantasy. And I've been really liking this. So I'm like, okay, so I'll try this, see if I like it. I have, today is Tuesday, and I have until Friday where my boyfriend's gonna take me back to the library and return these books, finally. I feel like I've had these forever, and I really haven't. But yeah, so after I finish this book, I'll give you guys kind of my feelings. And then we'll go over kind of what I saved. Sorry, guys. And then we'll go over what I saved, if I would buy any of the books that I, read. As far as buying, the only one I would think about buying is if I could find it for, at the Boulder bookstore, is a Fire in the Sky. I didn't mind that one, but the rest of them, like, I could go without. I'm on, like, page 14 of this, and I'm not really digging it, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping the audiobook comes in for this, so it makes it a little bit faster, because I've been, work's been something else. So it would be really a lot better if I could get this as an audiobook and do some diamond art, instead of reading with my eyeballs, but we will see. But I will come back, review this book, give you kind of the totals of savings, and then we'll go back to normal programming. If you watched one of my previous vlogs, we spin the wheel again. I had like like Octavia Butler. Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, but I have that stack still. So I'm gonna go back to that. And then we'll just spin the wheel again. The only like type of readathon I think I'm gonna do after this, minus what I have, which is with my 25 books of 2025, and the bingo board of our fantasy. All I have left is magical readathon for the end of the year, which that can be, guys. So we have a little bit of update for this vlog. Like, overzealous last night with Scythe right here, and then the Rise of Kyo. This book, I will learn how to pronounce it. I am really liking. This is, I think, what I want from Avatar. If it was, so we had the Avatar live action come out recently, and to me, this would have been a better story to do a live action with, because it's already dark, it's very gritty. They wouldn't have to lighten up the tone, and they could make it darker and make it make sense. They could add a little bit more violence, show a little bit more, and she is more of, based off of the couple of scenes, not off of the 100 pages I've read, because this is pretty much, I've only read pretty much up to her youth, and her being an orphan, and her not necessarily being the person that they want as the Avatar. So with that, like, you already have extreme dark themes, so this would be easily translated as a story. Maybe not with the magic system, but as a story, it's easily translated. You could just be like, okay, we'll translate the story. Would we rather have animated? Yes, I think Avatar as just kind of a series, I like animated better just because of the, the bending and all that stuff. But as a story, like, I could definitely see this as a live action a lot easier. I might change my mind maybe if I ever watch the Avatar The Last Airbender live action, but as of right now, that's kind of how I feel. But this is definitely a win. I'm going to continue with this. I'm listening to the audiobook. Audiobook's really good, and I am on page right now 103. So, like I said, I got really zealous with Scythe by Neil Shusterman. It's not grabbing me, but at the same time, it's not, there's still like a spark of interest, when it comes to this. The characters are not really interesting, but I like the concept, and the concept's kind of driving me to want to keep going with this book, see kind of how it goes, and at least get to page 200. So I'm on page 164 right now, and so 200 is really not that much far away. So like it would just be like half of the book. Now, I have to think about this in the aspects of, would I continue with the series? Obviously, I won't know that until if I do decide to finish this book. If the ending intrigues me enough to continue. Now, if I decide at page 200, obviously I'm not continuing with the series. But if I do decide I want to continue with the series, like, okay. But if I finish this book and I don't want to continue, then it's just a book that I give back to the Bag of Doom, and that's that, and then we kind of move on. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going back and forth enough to where I'm like, I don't want to DNF this yet. But if I get to page 200 and I'm still not pleased, or it's losing my grip and it's not like really getting me interested in the story. So this is about a world where pretty much nobody can die, and they have these people called Scythes where they're picked to kill off a certain amount of the population. It's very Repo the Genetic Opera, if you've ever seen that movie, but in a lot lighter of a tone. And I think that's some of my problem with it too, is I've seen something like this but better. And they also had another Repo movie. I think it's Jude Law that's in that. But that was really well done too. But because it was it was for adults, it was a lot darker. And I think with a theme like this, you can tame it down, but if that's not what you want from a story like this, it doesn't come off really well. And I think that's kind of my thing. I'm like, I read so much adult where when a young adult book, no offense to this, like, I think this is actually written very well and stuff like that. This is a very good YA book. But if you're talking about a concept that, like, an adult, like, person or something like that, I don't know how to, like, you know, and it's for adults and they've done it better, like, I'm going to reach that for that more than for a YA book that to me is not doing it as good as like the adults do. And it's just, and I think that's what I'm kind of noticing with this is, if this was for adults, I would probably be eating this up. And it's a little bit of slow writing, which I don't always mind, and I think it works really well in this because they're so separated from who they're having to kill and stuff like that, to where I understand that separation, I understand that coldness of the characters, so it works for the slowness. But I think at the same time, it needed to go deeper, and I think it can't go deeper because it's a little bit of a YA, like there's a little bit of a YA wall to where there's some scenes where you can't go deeper. But then there's some scenes, like there was a scene where they went to somebody's funeral and one of the characters is like, well, why would we do that? And like they're trying to find their humanity in what they do. And I think that's a really good discussion when you're talking about something like this, is like, how much humanity do you have left when your job is pretty much the Grim Reaper? And that is like a good discussion. And that's kind of interesting in a YA book about, you know, this type of topic. But at the same time, it's just not something I would think I would continue. Like, if this was a standalone, definitely a good standalone. Like, unless it ends like very abruptly or something like that, then I would be like, okay, like maybe I'll read the second one, see what happens. But this is not telling me it's that type of book. Like, I don't think this is like, oh, we're gonna have twists and turns and not. No, I think this is pretty much like in your face. This is what they do. There might be some type of rebellion that they have maybe with the government eventually, because it seems like that type of book. But I mean, I told you kind of what's gonna happen without reading the whole book and without reading the whole series. Like, I have a prediction of that. But, and like, they had a scene where somebody's begging for their life, and it just did not hit. And I don't know, like, I've been watching Elia Brooks, I think is her channel, and she's been talking about Piranesi and a couple other things. And like, I think about like how important medium is when you're experiencing a story. And I feel like that's what this is. Like, if this was an anime, and you were actually seeing it, these scenes would probably hit so hard. Because anime does such a good job about emotion. And them being such a force, and with them just being like a presence, because that's what I get a feeling of, like, when I'm reading this. They're just a presence. Like, they're not, they're still human, they still have feelings and stuff, but they're just a presence when they're killing, doing their job. And I think that comes off not as well if you don't see it. Sisters, and then they find out that they are magical Gemini twins, and they have the right to this throne. And these 4 boys, all different races of supernatural creatures, are like, no go, because we were told that we were gonna get the throne. And so they're trying to bully these girls out of this academy, because once they graduate, they can have the throne. And all they want is the money. I read the first one a couple of years ago, and I gave it like 0 stars. I did not like it. I did not see the appeal of it whatsoever. I saw this. I've been watching Eleanor Reed's and a couple other romantasy creators, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this again, but I'm not gonna reread the first one. I'm gonna jump into book 2 and see how I feel, and I'm liking this way better, and there's a couple reasons for that. I think the characters are kind of coming into their own a little bit more in this book than, of course, the first book. So not only are we having the guys kind of take a step back and be like, you know what, we don't need to be like this, and the girls are kind of fighting back against them. So with that dynamic, it's a lot more fun because you have the two ends kind of pulling against each other. And it's making for a lot better dynamic. Would I say this is a win for this project? Well, I have 6 hours left, and if I'm right, I've listened to 400 pages. Now, if that's true or not, we're not gonna put that as a main thing. But if that is the case, I would say this is a win. I got past 100 pages. I would say I'm definitely past the 100-page mark. Even if I'm not all the way up to 400 pages. And I'm really liking the teacher better. Orion. How can I forget that? That's like a celestial type of thing. I'm liking him better too. He's a little bit more interesting. Kind of how he's helping the girls is, getting a little bit more interesting. You can tell he likes one of them. The thing I don't like about these books is the twins, sound the same. So if you're in one of their point of view, I can't separate one from the other one. Unless they're like, oh no, I'm not into you, and when you're like, okay, maybe the other one is. I think it's gonna be a case of maybe not Orion. He seems like he only likes one of the girls, in that way. But with the other guys, I think what's gonna happen is they're probably going to find a romantic interest in these girls, kind of going back and forth, would be my best guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's not a win in the sense of would I ever buy these books? No. These aren't books I want to own, but these are fun books to pick up, and have a good time. And I think that's really what I needed to go into the first book with, is just to know, yeah, it's like a CW show, so it's really ridiculous. And some of the stuff is really unbelievable, why would these girls like these men, and stuff like that. Hi, welcome. So we're finally finishing this vlog. I forgot to tell you how much. We'll do that on this little part here. So I finally finished. Hi! So here is just kind of a quick update about kind of what's been going on. So I finished The Deal with the Elf King by Elise Sakova. I would say probably a 3.5. The characters did not wow me, and it was just, it tied up in a nice bow. So, I mean, if you just want to read this book and not the others, I guess that's fine. But I wouldn't read another one unless, like, I saw it and was kind of wanting kind of one of the other ones looked better. But otherwise, not really my style, not my cup of tea. And then yesterday, I listened to a little bit of Budokai by PC Cast. This is another loose situation. So the problem kind of with this is it's a very day-to-day, like I'm doing my hair, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it's just not getting to what I really want to see, which is what made Budokai Budokai. So yeah, this is an L. I got to page 126. If I do get bored, I am going to keep the audio book for a little bit, but I am not going to read it physically, so I'm just going to L's. And then I started reading Scythe by Neil Sucherman. So I can't really tell you if this is going to be an L. Some of his writing is already kind of getting me at a bad point. Like, I think it's a little bit too flowery for my liking. But we're gonna see. If I decide that this isn't for me, then I'm gonna probably go to Alone with You in the Ether. And I'm probably going to listen to some of the Last Airbender book. But this should be my physical read. I don't think this is going to take me too long. It's pretty short. So I don't think this is going to take me too long. And then Atlas Complex, I do really want the audiobook if I can possibly get my hands on it. But I can't figure out where I left off, and I remember everything that happened. So I just kind of want to continue. But otherwise, that's where I'm at right now. Hi guys. So I finished Ruthless Fae by Carleen Pickman and Susan Valtoni. I am so obsessed with the ending of, like, the last two sections really gripped me so much. It was so much fun. And I will be continuing, probably just listening to the audiobooks. I'm not gonna... This was a win in a way where it's like, it went from the first book being like a 1-star to this book being like, so it's not like I want to buy them or anything, but it's a win with that. So I'll take the win. I'll take the W. And then I started picking up The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. We are almost done with this vlog, guys. I love this series. I know this is a love-hate series. Like, some people really love Olivia Blake and her writing and her way of looking at the world, and some people are just like, it's a little too much. It's a little, too over some people's heads. And I get that. I get that. It's not, like, she expects you with her literature to take it in as much as you can, but, like, you're not gonna get everything, like, that this is trying to say. I miss kind of, like, the first book with just the people from the Atlas Six kind of competing, kind of getting to know each other, and this is just like, okay, now let's save the world. And it's a little too broad for me, going from like 7 to 8 people to like, okay, now we have the whole universe. So I am really excited to get this series done, and then I'll be reading Alone with You in the Ether, which will hopefully not take too long, and then we'll be done. So far this is a win. I'm not surprised that this is a win. I like the other two. I think at least 4, if not 5 stars for the whole trilogy. So yeah, I'm not surprised that this is a win. this is kind of the 100, like I'm on page like 93, but I'm not planning on stopping. Like I'm planning on finishing this whole book and skip that and just keep going with my life. But I would like at some point to probably re-listen or reread this whole entire series. I really did enjoy this one, and I have a really good feeling about the last book. As you can tell, I am still listening to Broken Souls and Bones by L.G. Andrews. It's been an interesting journey. It's about this girl that she has some special powers that are attached by bones and stuff, and it is a romantasy, but that's not really the big problem. I think the big problem is it's just a little too slow. Like, we are just now, I'm in about like almost 40% of the book, or the audiobook, and we're just now like really figuring out what her powers are and what that means and all that stuff and what her life is gonna be like, and I feel like it's a little too slow. And I feel like I'm gonna finish it because I only have 8 hours left, and all I have really is the Atlas Complex, which is gonna be another part of another vlog, and then I have my documents as another audiobook that I'm gonna put in a video somehow. But I don't know, I feel like it's a little too, like I said, it's a little too slow for me. I feel like the stakes aren't as high as I feel like they should be. And I find this sometimes with romantasy a little bit, and I feel like we're on the edge of something, like we should get to that breaking point for the character, and then it gets cleaned up and put in a nice bow. And I'm like, for as dark as this is and the tone of this, like I feel like it should go a lot deeper than what it's going to. I don't think every book should be like Game of Thrones. Like, not every book should have the moment of peril where like somebody's gonna die. I don't think that should be all books. Like, I think that would be like painful to read that many books in a row like that. I think there should be some hope in your books, and stuff like that. Like, no, not everybody needs to be like a Joe Abercrombie or George R.R. Martin. But if you're writing something with like a darker tone, you need to like go dark. Like, you need to decide, like, okay, if there's a character on the edge, like, throw him over the edge. And I think the Fragile... Guys, I finished Scythe by Neil Sucherman. This is going to be an L. Even though I finished it, it's only like a 2.53 star. I think